Hello, my little piggies. Welcome to I'm a bit of an expert, a Peppa Pig podcast. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and on the other end of the line is my other host, Matt Frost. Hey, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Josh.
We got off to a flying start last time with the pilot with Muddy Puddles, but now we're moving on to the second episode, which is Mr Dinosaur is Lost. So first establishment of Mr Dinosaur, a big heavy hitter in the Peppa Pig universe.
That's correct, yes. And it gets quite dark in places. I would think that it's probably the Empire Strikes Back of the Peppa Pig universe so far.
Now, this episode aired 1st of June 2004, so it was the day after the first episode. So they'd obviously had them all, running in a row here. I think the first series pretty much runs every day straight. I'm just checking the episode listing here. But, they just sort of concurrently run. So still the core family group in this one. We don't really venture out, do we?
No, we do get introduced to, well, you could argue that the Muddy Puddle is a character unto itself, but yeah, you also get introduced to Mr Dinosaur.
Now, there is an Easter egg in this second episode because I've just got the freeze frames going on here. At the very start of the episode, the family are watching television and Mr Potato is on the television.
That's correct. The potatoes will play a large part in the Peppaverse.
And they're basically like the biggest celebrities in the Peppa Pig universe, and I'm sure we'll deep dive on them when we get to them. But I did notice that was a little Easter egg there. Or not an Easter egg. They probably just had to stick something on the TV, I guess, when they started. But so we get the first chunk of Mr Dinosaur basically, and sort of setting up that Mr Dinosaur pretty much goes everywhere that George goes.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Now, what's the general gist of the episode, Matt?
Well, a lot of it's world building, would you call? They're establishing George's relationship with Mr Dinosaur, and then there's a bit of foreshadowing with George throwing his dinosaur up, and then
spoilers! You've just spoiled the end now. But anyway,
true.
Spoiler warning.
True.
And by the way, we're not for children. We didn't actually put this up. I just realised we didn't say that up front. But if you heard the first episode and you're on the second episode, we're not for children. We're not going out of our way to be anti-children or be edgy or anything like that. But you'll get more out of this if you're a parent forced to sit through Peppa rather than someone who watches Peppa for the Peppa.
That's correct. Correct.
So a bit of foreshadowing, did you say? A bit of world building?
Yep. So we get the established tropes of George, sleeping with Mr Dinosaur, bathing with Mr Dinosaur, burping with Mr Dinosaur. It's first sort of bodily function joke too, I'd say.
Yeah, it's first proper look inside in the house too, isn't there? So you get the lounge room and you get Peppa and George's bedroom. So you actually find out that Peppa and George share a room.
Yeah, and it's quite iconic. We have the play set, so yeah. We used to have this.
How many bedrooms do you reckon? How big you reckon their house is? I'm just trying to. There's an establishing shot. So if you look at the establishing shot of the house, it's definitely 2 stories.
Yep.
Now I know. Mummy and Daddy Pig obviously have their room, and I know Mummy Pig has a study because she works from home.
True.
Mummy Pig.
True.
So
now who's doing spoilers?
I know. So do you think that it's a 3-bedder and they've just given up the 3rd bedroom to Mummy Pig's study, so the kids have got to share?
Almost certainly. Yeah. Yep.
So they're gonna have to get an extension when the kids get a bit older. They're not going.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll eventually sort of push out and get a 3rd piglet in there.
Age out. Well, they usually do that. When the interest drops off. When the other kids aren't so cute anymore, they have to drop in the new baby.
Yeah, when Peppa and George are like an aging sow and boar, and just
it becomes sow and boar. And Peppa's got a few sort of udders going on, and she's going out in a tube top covering her udders and things, and Daddy Pig's telling her she can't go out wearing that anymore, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's now you definitely know that you're not for children. So Mr Dinosaur's gone missing. He doesn't know where it's gone, and Peppa basically fancies herself a bit of a detective.
Yeah, she does, and she she more or less goes through what was established in the first act of this 5-minute show, and goes to all the places where George plays with Mr. Dinosaur. So they're all pretty good guesses, but sadly no Mr. Dinosaur.
So we go to the bathroom, we go to the bedroom, but then basically, Daddy Pig finds Mr. Dinosaur.
Yeah, you notice
and
how
Peppa takes credit for it.
He does, and Daddy Pig's quite, he's quite happy to give up the collar. So.
Yeah, so I suppose you've got to keep her happy and things. And then George manages to throw Mr. Dinosaur up a tree and then proceeds to just about throw it back up the tree again. So that's the classic, you tell your kid not to do something or they don't learn their lesson. And they literally go and do the same thing all over again.
Does your little Peppa have a special toy?
She's got a lamb that she takes to bed, which is like the number one bed toy.
Yep.
Which we've actually got 2 of. So we've doubled up.
Good.
So you guys got to have a spare. So we got one and then bought another one quite soon afterwards. And she actually is they kind of both float around. She just completely indifferent. As long as one of them's there, she doesn't really care which one.
So they're like the Olsen twins in Full House.
Yeah, but she's quite happy if they're both there. That's fine. She doesn't go, why is there 2 of them? But she'll only ever take one to bed. She doesn't take both to bed, which is good because you don't want to, all of a sudden get her used to having 2. How about your kids? Have they got a must-have?
The girls got given 2 small grey teddy bears, and Beanie tends to like. That's my youngest. That's a 2-year-old, Sabine. She tends to like having one of them, but she's not very particular about it. But the older one, Sarai, got given a handmade giraffe, a pink giraffe called Mrs. Perkins.
Oh yeah.
And Mrs. Perkins is very, very special. So,
right.
And Mrs. Perkins
is that a bed toy or just a take around?
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I'd take around and bed toy, even though she's 5 now. So she doesn't get taken to school or anything like that. But Mrs. Perkins has been lost. Mrs. Perkins got left in a roadhouse.
Did Patrick Swayze take it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Perkins ended up being a bouncer.
Kicking some people in the face.
Yeah, so got left in a roadhouse on the way down to Grandma and Grandpa Pig's house. And, we had she didn't realise it was missing for a day, and then she was quite upset. But we went back past that roadhouse, and I sort of went in and said, you haven't seen a pink giraffe, have you? And they said, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's over there. And it was sitting on top.
She kept a bunch of bikies out of here last night.
Yeah. She was sitting perched like a dog on top of the cappuccino machine, the coffee machine. And they said, oh, yeah, we took one look at that and figured somebody's coming back for this. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always good to happy ending. Well, this obviously isn't the first. This isn't the last time Mr. Dinosaur is going to go missing or something happens to Mr.
Hell
Dinosaur.
No. Yeah.
And you make it wonder where they don't really say where Mr. Dinosaur comes from. He's probably like you think you get a whole box of them from China or something, but he must more be like a Woody from Toy Story, where he's actually a collector's item and doesn't know it, kind of thing. One of a kind.
That might be another thing when they get a bit the interest drops off. We could get a bit of Mr. Dinosaur's backstory, and there could be a whole box of them. So
I'd like to see that.
Mummy Pig is very practical. I wouldn't put it past her to have
a whole stack of them under the bed. Very true, very true. All right, any closing thoughts on Mr. Dinosaur Goes Missing before we sign off, Matt? We move on.
I think I'm very excited to see sort of more characters introduced. I think that the series was crying out for it at this point. So.
It was. We've got to keep that momentum going.
That's right.
All right, mate. Well, thanks everybody. We'll be back next time with Best Friend. All right, I'll see you soon.
Correct. See you soon, mate.
Bye.
Yeah, we're playing a tune and we're singing a song with a bang and a bong and a bang. Bong, bing, boo. Bing, bong, bing. Bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo. Bong, bing, boo. Bing, bong, bing. Bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo.